And do it Facebook. It's hey. This morning we have a lovely guest. I want to say across the pond, but where are you these days?
Yes, in London. In
You
London.
are. She's in London. Okay. I haven't had Edith on in a long time. It's been a few years, but she's
Yeah.
always publishing, ladies. She is always on a publishing wellness journey. And so today we're going to do something quick and sweet. It's going to be her introducing us her newest book. And can you just give us the title and tell us a little bit about why you wrote it?
Yeah,
Stop
it's the
panic now. Woohoo.
top time
Oh
now.
my God. I woke up in a little panic this morning because I signed myself up for a bunch of stuff. So, but we're going to get into it and we're going to talk how lives are being affected by the inner panic and then the outer panic. So
Yeah, so
without
I had
further ado, Edith.
yeah, I had three reasons to write this book. So one reason was my journey. I had panic attacks in my 20s, and then I was actually suffering from them for decades. I was only able to manage it before I actually figured out and found the modalities, find the tools how to actually heal it properly. So I was I was thinking for long to write a book for people who's going through the same similar things, because it's just devastating, being in that state for years after years, and then getting only the help to manage. And another thing was I had a client last year who was in my age when I had panic attacks, like at 20s and her 20s. And then I was able to use my 30 days PTSD to peace intensive on her for her panics. And then it was perfectly worked for her. And then she was actually relieved from panic attacks and able to go back to university. And then when we started, she was crying all day. She couldn't go outside. She was really in a very bad space. So that's when we started. And in 4 weeks, she was out and about and happy, flappy, going back to university. So
Wait. You're going so fast. I thought I found my match. You speak faster than I do.
yeah,
So stop. You
okay.
had this young woman who is obviously a college student. So go back and start all over about what was going on in her life and how you helped her to become, I don't want to say panic free, but she was not suffering at the level that she
Yeah.
was before. So tell me a little bit more
Yeah. So we
about
can
that.
say panic free. Yeah, so basically she come to me when she was already in a state when she couldn't go outside. She was freaking out all the time. She was crying all day. Like I never seen anybody like that before. So first we couldn't even start doing the meditation
Oh
healings,
no.
energy healings first before we memory healing. So we spent 4 weeks on working on her, and then she dived into my meditation library. She used meditations on a daily basis. She also went through my life transformation system videos to learn more about the background of all of these miseries we having. And then basically we had 4 sessions in these 4 weeks, deep 2 hours cell level healing sessions when we went into the root of the issue, why she's actually having panic attacks. And of course we worked on the mindfulness part as well. So I always start with like the body and then mind and spirit, so and then the body is like asking you like, what do you eat, how is your daily routine? Is very important, because I realized about myself first that when I was vegan, I had deficiencies. I wasn't a good vegan. I didn't know what to eat properly. So I had deficiency in iron, vitamin B, and that's why my anxiety and my panics was even amplified, So as soon as I fixed that part, I got more and more healthy and much more relieved, So my first question is always to people like, are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? How much meat you eat? How is your, vitamin supplements and minerals, how much you take? Because it's really, really helping to support a good mental health, So that's the first thing. We fixed that. And then it turned out that she was vegetarian. So I already advised her to get some iron, yeah, I can't tell them to eat meat, if they don't want to eat meat, but actually they can have like iron, which is plant-based, and then they can fix that part and other nutrients. So then that was the first thing. Then as we started to work on the spirit part, basically with meditations and the releases, then was the question about the mindfulness, because we did the release, we did the healing. She started to feel really great. She woke up in the morning, but she still had that underlying question, like, what if it comes back? It still was there. And then
Yeah.
that's when we had to work on the mindfulness, on the mindset part, when she had to like reframe that subconscious programming that she's afraid of, that is coming back, or I am not healed properly, blah blah blah. So I was recommending her like sticky notes, putting everywhere like with positive affirmations, and making sure that she feels safe and supported, and basically good about herself in her body, and free, and whatever she wants to do, she can do it, because that was one of her thing about the panic attack, being under control or not being able to do what she wants, stuff like that. So basically that's how we went through. And then after 4 weeks, it was just about time for her. It was a summertime. That's about time to go back to the university. And a couple of months later, I found out that she was already applying for another country to on a scholarship, so she was definitely well. And then recently I heard she's just coming back from Australia, so she's doing really great. Yeah. And so that was my second reason to write this book, because I heard her, I seen her, recovery. And then I was like, yeah, I'm actually continue do that with others, from PTSD to peace. Not everybody's having panic attacks, but definitely they coming to me with PTSD. So it's in a 30 days intensive. That's also explained in my back of my book, in the last chapters. And then the other reason was that it happened to me that I translated some people in going into the doctors, psychologists, with panic attacks. And then I was the translator, because they didn't speak English, so I had to translate them. And I was surprised how the psychologist is giving support to someone who had panic attacks, And then I was like, oh my God, this is insane. They're missing so many points. They're not asking the right questions. The poor guy is just going home with the same terrible problem, So I was like, I need.
Can I just stop you right there? So are they giving them drugs for panic attacks?
Either medications, yeah, or either just giving them some little tools what they can use when they feel it's coming. For example, when you feel it's coming, then count till 10, or think about a pink elephant, or whatever, like something very simple, like counting things or thinking things. Like mindfulness practice is basically at the point when it's coming, but it's nothing about prevention, nothing, like how to prevent even not to get there. And this book is all about it. This book is all about, like, if you are someone who's suffering from panic attacks, this book shows you how you can prevent the next one and the next one, and any of them in the future, like what steps you can actually take.
Well, I'm going to say this is my granddaughter, my G daughter, and she says she suffers from panic and anxiety. And I didn't mean to call her out on screen, but since this was her thing for her graduation, and I thought, and you're talking about it. So that is something I'm going to talk to her about, since you have called out the 20-year-olds. And so because I know we wanted to keep this short and sweet, who did you dedicate this book to?
Actually, I was dedicating this to my beautiful clients. That's in my book, yeah. So my last book was dedicated for my family and children, because it was more about my journey and lot of actions which I took with them together. Like, they were also part of the book. But this is more for my clients, because and then about my clients, there is also some testimonials in the back. So basically, it's more about how to serve them better, and what they can do themselves, about changing their life. And then I know you telling about your girl now that she has panic attacks. Like, there are so many people who's actually able to hide it. I was hiding it. Nobody knew I'm having panic attacks, for decades. Only my close family members. So people are hiding it. They might say, I'm tired, or I need some time off, or I feel fatigue, and they don't tell you that behind the doors they're actually having panic attacks. And then now, when people started to read this, some of them were coming to me and say, yeah, I had anxiety and panics recently, so I'm so happy that I'm having this book now, right? And then I wouldn't imagine, or she wouldn't share it before, so it's many people out there who's having panic attacks and anxiety. They just don't talk about it because they always hope that, oh, maybe this was the last one, or maybe I won't have any more, or
She said a phone call, a WhatsApp, an email, and hire her or purchase. So is your book on Amazon? Where is that book?
Yes, it's on Amazon. I upload it to Amazon, so there is a Kindle version and a paperback, so people can order it for themselves. Yeah, it's available on Amazon all around the world. I know a couple of countries didn't have it, like Egypt. I had a friend in Egypt, and he said he couldn't buy it, but most of the countries has it. Yeah.
All right, great. And then are you doing any, so I know you're probably doing one-on-ones. Are you doing any group coaching or any workshops or online?
Well, what I'm doing in groups, like some of them are like certificate programs. They are recorded. Like, for example, I have an elemental light healer certificate program and energy healing certification program, where I teach a lot of kind of energy healing practices in that training. That's you can enroll anytime. It's basically a recorded version, but I did it like in a class, so it's with other students. And then I have also the karma healing facilitator course, where people can actually learn what I do with my clients. Then they can become a facilitator and have the same success with their clients what I do with mine. I have the label one also. You can enroll anytime online, but I also have a community. So if someone joins the facilitator training, they can have access to my community and practice together, like practice sessions on each other, like limitless healing, and then also they have to take an exam on me, like before I give them basically the facilitator certificate. But that's a very good thing because they get access to the meditation library, they get access to all the books, workbooks, all the knowledge what is behind this technique which I use, and it's really powerful one. So it's completely changed my life. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So yeah, so these trainings are where I'm live. Sometimes I'm doing some meditations, like like new moon meditation or full moon meditation, or some special astrological events. I'm doing sometimes meditations. I joined I'm working with Jane Broberg Foundation, and they have a circle, and the circle called Survivor Circle on Circle. So if someone joins that circle, they can see me there often because I'm actually the community director there. So I'm working with Jen, I'm supporting them. So I do many live events there. But sometimes I also, if someone subscribes my newsletter, they can get information about my upcoming events, or from Instagram or Facebook. Usually I post there my upcoming events as well. And I'm very excited about November because I have a retreat in Mauritius. So if
where's your retreat?
In Mauritius. And Mauritius is next to Madagascar, next to Africa in the Indian Ocean.
Oh, okay.
So it's an island. It's similar to Maldives, but it's a different vibe. So Mauritius, it's a really nice island especially for this meditation and this retreat vibe. And one of my clients and student actually lives there, and she's doing this. She's a facilitator there. So we do this together, this retreat, and it's gonna be in November from 15th till 22nd. If there is four places still available.
So, okay, so if they're interested in doing this, I've never heard of the place, they can go to your website and find out more about
no,
this?
I actually have an IG, so I recommend to go them to my Instagram, and then there is also an Instagram especially about this Venus return Mauritius retreat. So, but I recommend them to go to my Instagram. So if they are interested in the I haven't put anything on my website yet, but probably I should. But in my Instagram, they have all the information about the Mauritian retreat.
All right, great. And then I'm going to study and see what StreamYard has done so that we can add all of this stuff, like the links and stuff. Great. Well, we said, I said I was going to start doing these little book author studio interviews, and I wanted them short and sweet, like 15 minutes. So we are 16 minutes and 51 seconds. And
Awesome.
Edith B. Kiss was our first author of this series. And oh my God, Stop Panic. Go ahead, show your book one more time.
Stop Panic Now.
And tell them where they can get it, please.
Amazon. You just go to Amazon, you type in Stop Panic Now, and then it's gonna be the top, which is pop up. There are other Stop Panic Now from older times, but this beautiful cover, you can't forget this purple one. My daughter designed this cover for me, so I gave her credit inside. She's my designer. So
see, you could do that with your family. And just quickly show us the other books, and then I will say goodbye.
Yeah, so if
So,
someone goes to my outdoor page, they can find all the rest of the books. So my other loved one is the Gap Filler Success. This is for reaching your goals, and it has a lot of advice what you can implement. And it's the fun thing about it that there is two parts. The first part is for people who's more strategic, more on earth, like grounded on earth, and then believes more taking action. And I help them to like what kind of actions to take, how to get what they want, And the second part is more for people who are more like believing in law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, astrology, numerology, subconscious reprogramming. So how that can help them to reach their goals. And there is a very powerful meditation at the end, parallel reality jump meditation. So it's pretty cool. And then all my life stories in there too. So if someone interested in like how I lived around the globe, then my travels are in there too.
All right. I love this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And guess what? Her mom's coming to visit. Your mom's, you said is 80? So I appreciate you taking the time out. I know your mom's going to be here Wednesday. And oh man, thank you so much, Edith. We have got to start keeping in touch. And I'd like to know more, and maybe we can start figuring out how we can implement some of these workshops over here. So when I say over here, I mean in the States, as they would say, because she's over across the pond.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye, sweetie. Thank you so much, Edith. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right, so